Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something a little different, Anime Rangers X. If you're a fan of tower defense games, this one is going to blow your mind. It's not your typical setup where you just place down towers and watch the action unfold. Nope. In Anime Rangers X, you summon units to fight your battles for you. And trust me, the choices you make in picking the right units can make or break your strategy. It's all about knowing who to summon and when. So today we're breaking down the ultimate tier list to help you build the perfect team. Whether you're a newbie trying to figure out the basics or a seasoned pro looking for some fresh insights, this tier list will give you the edge. Some units shine in certain situations while others can really turn the tide in tough battles. The strategy is deep and honestly, it's part of what makes Anime Rangers X so exciting. So grab your gear and let's jump into the best units in the game, because the right team can be the difference between victory and defeat. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking units in Anime Rangers X. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The units in this tier are in order from top left to bottom right: Leaf Ninja, Black Log, Pirate, Pink Ninja, Prince, Sunshine, Chow, Pirate Hunter, Hepburn, Saiyan Warrior, and Sniper King. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Hero on Wheels, Demon Slayer, Porcoro Cyborg, Eternal Avenger, Tidal Tyrant, Speed Ninja, and Killer. Alright, let's get into the meat of it. If you're still using those bottom tier units, it might be time for a serious upgrade. I'm talking about the D tier units like Leaf Ninja, Black Log, Pirate, Pink Ninja, Prince, Sunshine, Chow, Pirate Hunter, Hepburn, Saiyan Warrior, and Sniper King. These are the ones that really start holding you back in later stages of Anime Rangers X. They just don't pack the punch you need to take on the tougher challenges, and you'll find that as you progress, their usefulness quickly fades. Trust me, you'll be way better off putting your resources into higher tier units. Focus your attention on meta and S+ tier characters. Those are the heavy hitters that will make your life so much easier. Now, I'm not saying you need to dump all of your C tier units immediately, but Hero on Wheels, Demon Slayer, Porcoro Cyborg, Eternal Avenger, Tidal Tyrant, Speed Ninja, and Killer aren't exactly going to be game changers either. They have their moments, but when it comes to tackling endgame content, they're definitely not the ones you want carrying your team. As you start advancing, it's all about carefully adjusting your lineup based on the enemy types you'll face. And let's be real, low tier picks are just gonna hold you back. Save those coins for units that actually have the potential to carry you through. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Otaku, Shadow Reaver, Hawk Swordsman, Dr. Pirate, Light Admiral, and Thunder God. Alright, buckle up because today we're diving into some of the more meh units in Anime Rangers X. Now, we're not here to bash these units, but let's just say they've got a little more work to do before they can shine like the true legends they're supposed to be. We're talking about those B-tier units that, well, don't quite live up to their potential. Let's kick things off with Otaku. On paper, this guy seems like he's got it all. Speed and HP that can hold their own, no doubt. He's definitely one of the best non-evolution legendary units out there. But here's the kicker. Everything else about him is kinda disappointing. All his stats, except for his speed and HP, are so low, it's almost funny. So yeah, he can take a hit and outrun some foes, but don't expect him to be the powerhouse that you might hope for in the heat of battle. Then we've got Shadow Reaver, a mythic unit that gets a lot of attention because, well, it's mythic, right? This guy's range and speed are solid and he still outshines a lot of epic and rare units. But let's get real. His DPS and HP are, well, tragic. He doesn't really bring much to the table and there's not much reason to use him over others. It's like having a flashy sports car that looks great in the driveway but can't even hit 60 mph. Talk about a letdown. Next up, Hawk Swordsman. Alright, this guy's another legendary unit with some decent stats for a non-evolution. He's got some okay numbers across the board, but honestly, when you compare him to heavy hitters like Otaku, Vampire Emperor, and Silent Sting, he just doesn't quite measure up. He's like the guy at the party who's fun to hang out with, but gets overshadowed by the life of the party. When it comes to top-tier choices, Hawk Swordsman is usually left in the dust. Now, let's talk about Dr. Pirate. You'd think a pirate would be badass, right? This legendary unit has one thing going for him: insane range. Seriously, his range is like the stuff of legends. But, yeah, that's about it. All his other stats are so low, it's almost comical. He's another one of those units that sounds good at first, but when you look deeper, you realize you're better off with some rare or epic units that bring more balance to the table. And now we come to Light Admiral. If there was a class for underwhelming, Light Admiral would have a gold star. This legendary unit has very bad stats all around. Sure, he's still better than some epic and rare units, but let's be real here. There's not much to recommend him. It's like buying an expensive seat at a concert only to find out it's in the worst section possible. So what's the point of using him? Then we have Thunder God, another legendary unit that's part of the lightning element. While he's technically better than most rare and epic units, his stats just don't cut it. He's got the flash, but not the substance. His stats are pretty much as bad as Light Admiral's, and both of them share the honor of being some of the worst legendary units in Anime Rangers X. If you're looking to add something to your team that can carry you through tough battles, Thunder God is not the one to rely on. In the grand scheme of things, these units do have their charm. I mean, who doesn't love a good mythic or legendary unit, right? But when it comes to the nitty-gritty of actually winning battles, these guys just don't quite make the cut. They've got some good attributes, but their downsides are too much to ignore. If you want to build a team that can truly carry you through the game, you might want to look elsewhere. So, while these units might not be your go-to choices for every match, don't give up on them completely. Maybe with a little tweaking or the right synergy, they'll find their moment to shine. Just don't expect them to steal the spotlight from the real heavy hitters. The units in this tier are in order from top left to bottom right: Blackleg, Hellfire, Leaf Ninja, Sage, Silent Sting, Eternal Avenger, Cursed, Porcoro, Dragon, Otaku, Speed, Tidal Tyrant, Infernal, Cursed Fist, Cyborg, Ultimate, and Vampire Emperor. So, you're ready to dive into the world of Anime Rangers X and you want to know which units really stand out? Well, let me tell you, some of these legendary and mythic units are absolute game changers, while others, not so much. If you're trying to build the ultimate squad, you're going to need the right units in your arsenal. Let's talk about some of the best and the not so great options you might encounter. First up, we've got Blackleg Hellfire. This unit is a beast, no doubt about it. With 4 maximum placements and upgrades that won't break the bank, this is one of the best legendary units for both beginners and veterans. The stats are impressive and it's incredibly versatile. However, it does have a downside. It's relatively hard to get your hands on. Still, if you're lucky enough to unlock it, Blackleg Hellfire will become one of your top picks, though it might not always outshine the Saiyan Warrior Super in terms of raw power. Then, there's Leaf Ninja Sage. This unit is one of those all-around great options. With 4 max placements and fairly affordable upgrades, it's solid from start to finish. Whether you're looking for a unit to clear waves or to tank some damage, this unit's stats have you covered. The catch? Just like the previous one, it's not exactly easy to unlock, so it might take some grinding to get there. But trust me, if you do, you're in for a treat. Now, let's talk about Silent Sting. This one is a bit tricky. On the surface, it's a powerhouse, great stats, 4 max placements, and upgrades that won't leave you empty-handed. The issue comes with its range. Silent Sting has an extremely low range, and its ability damage per second is pretty underwhelming. Still, if you're looking for a strong beginner legendary unit that can handle a few things on the field, it's worth considering. Moving on to Eternal Avenger Cursed. If you're hunting for raw power, this legendary is the way to go. Great range and excellent ability DPS, coupled with solid overall stats, make it one of the best units out there. The catch? It's a bit hard to unlock, and as an evolved legendary, it only has 3 maximum placements. That said, when you get it right, this unit can absolutely carry your team to victory. Next, let's check out Porcoro Dragon. This tanky legendary unit is a real force in the game, especially for those who want a unit that can take some hits while dealing damage from the air. With 5 maximum placements and relatively cheap upgrades, it's a great option for tanking. However, its DPS doesn't quite match up to other evolved legendaries. If you're looking for a tank though, this is your guy. Now, don't let the name fool you. Otaku Speed is all about high-speed action. With excellent speed, DPS, and range, it's a fantastic unit. 4 max placements and affordable upgrades just add to the appeal. But here's the downside. It's hard to get, and it doesn't really outshine most of the evolved legendary units in terms of performance. Still, if you want a unit that can zoom through levels at lightning speed, Otaku Speed could be your best friend. Then, we have Tidal Tyrant Infernal. This one is all about range. With excellent range and 4 max placements, it seems like a dream, right? Unfortunately, its ability DPS is lackluster, and when you compare it to other evolved legendaries, there isn't much reason to evolve this one. Still, if you want to control the battlefield from a distance, it's not a terrible choice. Just don't expect to blow away the competition with it. Lastly, there's Vampire Emperor. This legendary unit comes with solid stats and is a great option for clearing through story or early game stages. Its evolution can be incredibly useful, and it holds its ground against a lot of other units. But here's the kicker. It's kind of outclassed by Silent Sting and most evolved legendaries. It's a great unit to have in your early game lineup, but as you progress, you might find better alternatives. So there you have it, Anime Rangers X's finest and not-so-fine units. Whether you're building a tank-heavy team, focusing on DPS, or just trying to clear those early levels, these units will definitely help shape your strategy. Just remember, not every legendary or mythic unit is created equal, so choose wisely. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Green Tornado, Demon Slayer Sunbreathing, Tank Top Hero, String Demon, Night King, Chaos, King Ant, Saiyan Warrior, Super, and Night King. Let's talk about some of the most interesting units in Anime Rangers X. Now, I know a lot of you have probably been grinding your way through the game trying to unlock those mythic units, but let me tell you, not all mythic units are created equal. Some are absolute beasts, while others, well, not so much. Let's dive into these units and see which ones are worth your time and which ones might make you rethink your strategy. First up, we have the Green Tornado. Now, if you're just starting out, this unit is a solid pick for a mythic unit. It's a magic type with the Leaves element and targets air units. The cool part? It has +5 max placement, so you can put down more of them than most other mythics. On top of that, its upgrades are cheap, and for a 1,400 cost unit, it has solid stats across the board. But don't get too comfortable, because in the endgame, most other mythic units will easily outshine it. Still, if you're a beginner, it's a solid option to get you going. Next, we've got the Demon Slayer Sunbreathing. Now, this one's a little different. It's a physical type with the fire element, and it targets ground units. Like Green Tornado, it has +5 max placement and some really cheap upgrades. The stats are solid too, but there's one big downside: the range is really low. It's one of the best beginner mythics out there, but as you move toward late game content, other mythics will take the lead. Still, for the price, it's pretty hard to complain. Let's move on to Tank Top Hero. This guy's a beast when it comes to tanking. With the dark element and targeting ground units, it has +5 max placement and some pretty cheap upgrades. For just Y Silver's 400, it's a solid tank, but here's the catch. Its speed is incredibly low. So, while it's tough, it doesn't move fast enough to keep up with faster enemies. If you're looking for a tank, you might want to look elsewhere for something with a bit more speed. Now, we've got String Demon, and this one is a bit of a disappointment. It's a magic type unit with the dark element, and it targets air units. The DPS is decent, but it's pretty expensive to place and upgrade. And if you thought the Green Tornado wasn't great in the late game, String Demon is one of the worst mythic units overall in Anime Rangers X. It just doesn't cut it, and you'd be better off using your resources elsewhere. Then there's the Night King Chaos. This unit's another magic type with the Sun element, and it targets ground units. It has +5 max placement and very cheap upgrades, which is great, but its range is abysmally low. The speed and ability DPS aren't bad, but like most of these mythic units, it falls short when compared to other units in endgame content. It's actually one of the worst evolution mythics in the game, so while it can hold its own early on, it's quickly outclassed by others as you progress. Moving on, we've got the King Ant. This one is a physical type unit with the dark element, targeting ground units. It has +4 max placement and cheap upgrades, which are definitely positives. The damage per second and health are fantastic for such a cheap unit, but the downside? Its range and speed are terrible. Seriously, you'll find yourself wishing for a little more mobility from this one. It's not the worst mythic out there, but it's far from being one of the top tier choices. Let's switch gears a little bit with the Saiyan Warrior Super. This legendary unit is a physical type with the fire element, and it targets ground units. With +3 max placement and relatively cheap upgrades, this unit stands out with solid stats all around. Its range is exceptional for a legendary unit, and it has one of the best ability DPS in the game. But even with all these strengths, it still gets outperformed by many mythic units in the endgame. Plus, it's not exactly easy to get your hands on this one. Still, if you can unlock it, it's definitely a great addition to your roster. And finally, we've got the Night King. This is another magic type unit with the Sun element, targeting ground units. It has +5 max placement and extremely cheap upgrades, but like some of the others, it suffers from an extremely low range. It's actually one of the worst mythic units in Anime Rangers X, with most other mythics easily outperforming it in the late stages of the game. While it has some decent speed, it's hard to make a case for this one when so many other mythics do the job better. So there you have it, folks. From tanks to DPS, there's a lot to consider when choosing your units in Anime Rangers X. Some of these units will serve you well early on, but once you hit the endgame, it's clear that not all mythic units are created equal. Choose wisely, and good luck out there. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Legendary Saiyan, King Curses, King of Shadows, Limitless Sorcerer, Shadow Knight, Cursed Love, Thunder Sword, Crow Ninja, and One-Arm Pirate. Alright, let's dive into the world of Anime Rangers X and take a look at some of the absolute S+ tier units. If you're aiming to boost your team with the best of the best, these units should be at the top of your wish list. These guys have it all: high damage, great abilities, and incredible survivability, but with some tricky costs and limitations that you'll need to manage. So without further ado, let's break them down. Let's start with the Legendary Saiyan. This unit is truly a beast. With 5 placements available, very high health points, and one of the best damage per second outputs among non-evolutionary mythic units, it's a top-tier pick. But here's the kicker: it's not cheap. Placing and upgrading this bad boy is costly, and it's definitely not the best choice for early game content. However, once you get past those hurdles, you'll have an unstoppable powerhouse on your team. Then we have the King Curses, which is a fantastic option for beginners. Priced at YWO's $800, this unit delivers solid stats across the board, making it one of the best mythic units to start with. With 2 placements available and excellent DPS, it provides a nice balance of power without being too expensive to manage. However, while it shines in the early stages, it's quickly outclassed by other mythic units as you get deeper into the game's more challenging stages. Moving on to the King of Shadows, another mythic unit that specializes in insane single-target DPS. This unit absolutely excels at taking down powerful enemies. With its high damage output, it's one of the best non-evolutionary mythic units available. The downside? You only get 1 placement, and its placement and upgrade costs can really start to add up. So while it can be a real game changer in the right scenarios, you'll need to weigh its value carefully in the long run. Next up, we've got the Limitless Sorcerer. This one is a real treat if you're looking for an incredible evolution, as his evolved form is one of the strongest units in Anime Rangers X. With solid ability damage and area of effect capabilities, this unit can handle a variety of scenarios. However, much like the King of Shadows, it only offers 1 placement, and getting it onto the field and fully upgraded can get pretty expensive. If you've got the resources to back it up though, this unit is a great choice for later stages. Let's talk about the Shadow Knight, a secret unit that's perfect for budget-conscious players. At only YSU $400, it gives you 4 placements, is cheap to place and upgrade, and can hold its own with solid stats for the price. The trade-off, however, is that its DPS doesn't compare to the high-cost mythic units. It's also pretty slow and has low range, which makes it less effective in some tougher endgame situations. But for the early and mid-game, this unit is a real gem. On the other hand, Cursed Love is another secret unit that outshines the Shadow Knight in terms of DPS, but unfortunately, it comes with its own set of drawbacks. For YSU $500, it provides solid stats across the board and offers better DPS than the Shadow Knight. However, just like many other powerful units, it has only 1 placement, and it becomes less useful as the game progresses, especially in endgame content. Some even argue that it's the weakest secret unit in the game, so make sure to think carefully before investing too heavily in it. Next, we have the Thunder Sword, a mythic tank that's perfect for soaking up damage. This unit can hold 2 placements and boasts very high health points, which makes it one of the best tanks among non-evolutionary mythic units. It's relatively cheap to place and upgrade compared to other mythic units. However, it's a tough pill to swallow when you realize that its range, speed, and DPS are severely lacking. So, while it can survive for a while, it's not going to deal much damage to enemies, which can be a significant issue in certain situations. Lastly, there's the One-Arm Pirate, a solid but somewhat underwhelming mythic unit. While it's relatively affordable and offers 2 placements with decent health points, it's overshadowed by most other mythic units in terms of damage. Its range and speed are incredibly low, which can really hurt its performance when facing more challenging waves. Still, if you're on a budget and looking for a unit that can hold its ground, this one might be worth considering. but don't expect it to carry you through the toughest battles. So there you have it, a rundown of some of the most powerful, yet tricky to master units in Anime Rangers X. Whether you're looking for raw DPS, solid tanks, or something in between, these units offer a bit of everything. Just remember, you'll need the right strategy and resources to get the most out of them. The units in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Limitless Sorcerer, Infinite, Fire Fist, King of Shadows, Monarch, Eclipse Sorcerer, Legendary Saiyan, Super, Solar Fist, Molten Phantom, and Vampire Emperor. Vampire. You know that feeling when a unit drops into your team and everything just clicks? Like suddenly you're not just playing Anime Rangers X, you're dominating it. Well, let's talk about the units that do exactly that. These are the meta tier units, and if you're lucky enough to have them, you're basically flexing on everyone without even trying. Let's start with the Limitless Sorcerer Infinite, an absolute beast of a unit. This Mythic Tier magic unit belongs to the Moon element and targets air enemies. What makes this guy shine is his insane ability damage and massive area of effect. Seriously, his abilities feel like they were designed to wipe out waves just for fun. He's widely regarded as one of the best mythic units in the entire game. That said, his ability cooldown is long, and you can only place one of him. Oh, and he'll empty your wallet pretty quick with how expensive he is to place and upgrade. But worth it? Absolutely. Next up is Fire Fist, a secret rarity magic unit that uses fire element attacks and targets air. This unit is the definition of value. Super cheap to place, easy to upgrade, and you can have up to 3 of him out at once. His stats are really well balanced, making him one of the best all-around choices for players at any level. Whether you're farming or tackling high-level content, Fire Fist has your back. Now let's talk Darkness. King of Shadows, a physical-type mythic unit with the dark element, and this guy only targets ground enemies. But man, does he obliterate bosses. His damage per second is through the roof, and when it comes to boss battles, he might actually be the best in the game. Only one can be placed on the field, and like most mythics, he's pricey. But if you need raw damage, this is your guy. Coming in with that cool, mysterious energy is the Eclipse Sorcerer. This one's a secret rarity, magic type, and also belongs to the dark element. She targets air enemies and has excellent range, making her perfect for early wave clears. You can place 2 of her, which helps a ton with flexibility. Her downside? Her damage output isn't quite as high as the other top-tier units, but for a secret unit, she holds her own like a champ. Let's not forget about Legendary Saiyan Super. This one's a powerhouse physical-type mythic unit with the lightning element and air targeting. He can take a serious beating thanks to his extremely high health points, and you can place up to 5 of him. His ability damage is nothing to scoff at either. The only catch? He's not really the guy you call when you need quick clears. His damage per second is lower than most other mythics. But as a tank, total legend. You like budget picks that still slap? Then Solar Fist is your guy. This secret rarity, physical-type sun element unit only targets ground, but don't let that fool you. He's dirt cheap to place and upgrade, has solid single-target damage, and his abilities hit hard. You can only place 1, and yeah, he's outshined by some of the mythics, but for his cost, he punches way above his weight class. Speaking of heat, Molten Phantom brings the fire. Literally. This mythic magic unit uses fire element and targets air. What sets him apart is his excellent stats and the fact that you can place 2 of him. He's considered one of the best mythics right now, and honestly, if you can afford the steep cost of placing and upgrading him, he's going to carry your runs. No questions asked. And finally, let's wrap it up with Vampire Emperor Vampire. And no, that's not a typo. His name just really wants you to know he's a vampire. This mythic magic unit is all about ice element and ground targeting. You can place 3 of him, which is already a win. His ability damage is super high and comes with a lovely short cooldown. The only real drawbacks are his range and speed, both on the lower side. Plus, he's still pretty expensive to deploy, but once he's out there, he's doing some serious work. So yeah, if you've got any of these units, you're already sitting at the cool kids table. Whether you're dishing out AoE chaos, melting bosses, or just being a tanky menace, these meta-tier units make the difference between surviving and styling on your enemies. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.